Happy Monday, everybody. My name is Brandon Rosa, and welcome to episode 123 of the Xbox in 10 podcast, your weekly source of Xbox gaming news covered in around 10 minutes. Every Monday, this podcast covers new game releases, the previous week's gaming news, and we all learn an Xbox-related fun fact together. This show is on YouTube and podcast services around the world, so please, do me a favor, subscribe on your favorite and leave a review. Xboxin10.com, no numbers, is your quick source for links to all of our podcast destinations, and social media profiles you can file at Xboxin10. To start, let's talk game releases. The big games out last week were FIFA 22 and Hot Wheels Unleashed. The games coming out this week are Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania, BPM Bullets Per Minute, Exophobia, Rainbow Bully The Curse of the Leviathan, Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl, Wasteland 3 Cult of the Holy Dead Nation, Alan Wake Remastered, Far Cry 6, Moonglow Bay, No Longer Home, Adam RPG, Rain City, and Lord of the Click 2. New games with gold for October have been announced and are now available as followed. You can play Arrow from Xbox One on October 1st through the 31st, Hover on Xbox One from October 16th to November 15th, Castlevania Harmony of Despair available on Xbox 360 from the 1st of October to the 15th, and a personal favorite of mine, Resident Evil Code Veronica X, available from October 16th to the 31st from the Xbox 360. New games coming to Game Pass were also announced this week at Tokyo Game Show, and they include Scarlet Nexus on Cloud Console and PC, and Marvel's Avengers being the big titles. Okay, now on to last week's biggest news stories, and we have 7 to cover this week. Number 1, Xbox boss Phil Spencer says console supply issues will continue into 2022. Tom Ivan at Video Games Chronicle writes, console shortages will continue into 2022, according to Xbox boss Phil Spencer. The head of Microsoft's games business told The Wrap that a shortage of chips wasn't the only thing stopping the company getting as many Xbox Series X and S consoles onto store shelves as it would like. Quote, I think it's probably too isolated to talk about it as just a chip problem, he said. When I think about it, what does it mean to get the parts necessary to build the console today and then get it to the markets where the demand is? There are multiple kind of pinch points in the process. And I think regretfully it's going to be with us for months and months, definitely through the end of this calendar year and into the next calendar year. The thing that's most disappointing is just the fans' disappointment, end quote, Spencer continued. Quote, people really want this new generation of consoles. They're good consoles, both from us and other platform holders, and they want the new functionality. We're working hard to bring them to market, but it's going to be a challenge that we'll work through for quite a while, end quote. Console manufacturers have struggled with stock shortages for over 18 months now, after the COVID-19 pandemic shut down essential supply chains and saw demand for gaming devices increase significantly as countries implemented social distancing measures. In particular, the PS5, Xbox Series X, as well as new RTX graphic cards from Nvidia have been increasingly difficult to secure, with the most restocks selling out within minutes. This is sad news. If you want a console, you want to be able to easily get it. Thankfully, I was able to secure my Series X for launch day, and actually on the launch day of the PS5, I was able to finally place an order by getting lucky, being on Twitter all the time, and I just got lucky when the link popped. That's what it's going to take. If you really want a console, it's definitely possible to get it, but you have to have tweet notifications on for certain people such as Wario64, deal sites, the rest. Be alert, non-stop, these damn resellers are taking everything up. Number 2, Dolby Vision support rolls out for all Xbox Series X and S owners. Tom West at True Achievements writes, Microsoft has announced that Dolby Vision Gaming is now available to all users on the Series X and S consoles and is supported on more than 100 optimized titles. After a stint in the Xbox Insiders program, Dolby Vision is making its way to the public today, providing you have an Xbox Series X and S console and Dolby Vision enabled TV, of course. Using Dolby Vision will allow games to be shown in vivid color with expanded contrast and better clarity in both bright and dark scenes. To achieve this, Dolby Vision automatically maps your display to give you the best picture available, as well as working alongside DirectX ray tracing, automatic low latency mode ALLM, variable refresh rate VRR, and the higher 120 frames per second refresh rates. There are over 100 titles in the Xbox library that support Dolby Vision, and although we couldn't get a definitive list of titles for you, Polygon did get a great response from Dolby, which says that the Dolby Vision library includes, quote, nearly all of our native HDR titles available today that have been optimized for the Series X and S consoles, such as Psychonauts 2, Gears 5, and Ori Will of the Wisps, end quote. Alongside the native experience offered by Xbox Series X and S optimized titles, Dolby Vision will now enhance the visuals for thousands of existing HDR10 and Auto HDR games. This is awesome. I love all this new tech making my old games and new games alike look better than ever. I am lucky enough to have an LG OLED C1 TV, which is compatible with this, so I can't wait to check it out and see if I actually notice a difference. Number 3. Xbox has made it easier to run emulators on the Series X and S consoles. Andy Robinson at Video Games Chronicle writes, "The latest Xbox Series X and S system update has made it easier for users to emulate classic consoles such as PlayStation and Nintendo 64. That's thanks to an update on the console's Edge web browser, which improves the performance of JavaScript-based emulators, which can be accessed without the need to put consoles into developer mode. Previously, Xbox users either needed to enable developer mode or use external FTP software in order to access emulators on the console. The former meant that they were unable to access retail games or the Xbox Store. As detailed in a new video by MVG, all Xbox Series X and S owners need to do is access emulators is now point their Edge web browser to one of many JavaScript-based emulation sites. Currently, browser-based emulators exist for Nintendo 64, PlayStation, Super NES, Sega Genesis, Mega Drive, MS-DOS, Amiga, and more. It's even possible to access other JavaScript games such as fan ports of Quake 3 and Super Mario 64. If you're interested, there's far more to the story and ways on how to do it. Just do a quick Google search and you'll find your way. I don't think this is something I'm running out to do, but I just think it's so cool that you can do this even if it's against all the rules. Number 4. Xbox Cloud Gaming launches in Australia, Brazil, Mexico, and Japan this week. Sean Carey at True Achievements writes, "During its Xbox Tokyo Game Show presentation, Microsoft announced that its game streaming service, Xbox Cloud Gaming, will finally launch in Australia, Brazil, Mexico, and Japan this week. According to Microsoft's latest Xbox Wire post, Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscribers in Brazil and Mexico will get access to Xbox Cloud Gaming later today, which was September 30th, and Australian and Japan users on October 1st. Subscribers in these countries will be able to play over 100 Xbox Game Pass titles via Xbox Cloud Gaming on Windows PC, Android mobile devices, and Apple mobile devices." I love this. Get this program out to many more people around the world, and I'm so intrigued to see how it does in the Japan market, which is huge for handheld gaming, but not necessarily cloud gaming. It's going to be interesting to see how that works out. I haven't taken full advantage of Xbox Cloud Gaming as I thought I might, but recently I've been jumping into Peggle on the phone, which is a perfect game for cloud gaming. It runs just fine, and man, that's a good old classic game. Number 5. Tango Gameworks is already developing its next game after Ghostwire Tokyo. Jason Koskari at IGN writes, "As fans continue to wait for the release of Ghostwire Tokyo from Tango Gameworks, studio founder Shinji Mikami has revealed another new title is already in the works, and it's being led by Evil Within 2's director. Mikami appeared in a video with Xbox boss Phil Spencer as part of Microsoft's live stream event during the first day of Tokyo Game Show and hinted at a new title, saying that John Johannes, the director of The Evil Within 2, is working on it. This is pretty cool, as that next game will certainly be an Xbox exclusive and definitely coming to Xbox Game Pass. The Evil Within franchise is one that I need to give another chance to. I love Shinji Mikami's work with the Resident Evil series, and I played The Evil Within for probably about 8 hours, but for some reason I just lost sight of it. I'd love to give it another chance, and if time allows it, I will certainly do so. Number 6. Battlefield 2042's open beta arrives in October. Austin Goslin at Polygon writes, "Battlefield 2042 is delayed until November, but the beta is still ready for the near future. The beta will run from October 6th to the 9th, Electronic Arts and developer DICE announced on Tuesday. The open beta will include Battlefield's signature conquest mode, but with a slight twist. 2 teams will compete to control several flags in certain areas, rather than larger individual control points. The beta will feature the game's orbital map, which takes the fight to an active rocket launch site. During the beta, players can choose to play as 1 or 4 different specialists, who each more or less represent a traditional Battlefield class and have their own abilities. Battlefield 2042 players who have pre-ordered the game will get access to the beta starting on October 6th for an exclusive 2-day early access period. The beta will open for all players starting on October 8th. The beta will be available on PS4, PS5, Windows PC, Xbox One, and Series X and S. PlayStation Plus is not required to participate in the beta, but if you plan to play on Xbox, you will need an active Xbox Live Gold subscription." Absolutely cannot wait. I'm so stoked for Battlefield 2042. I definitely have the multiplayer itch after loving what I've played in the Halo Infinite flight. Cannot wait. Gonna be there October 6th. And number 7. Konami reportedly working on Metal Gear, Castlevania, and Silent Hill games. Joe Scrubbles at IGN writes, "Konami is reportedly working on games in the Metal Gear, Castlevania, and Silent Hill series, with both internal and external studios attached. Anonymous publishing sources told VGC that Konami is refocusing on developing games within its best-loved series. Per those same sources, the first of those games will be a reimagining of Castlevania being developed primarily by internal Konami studios. The report adds that Konami is planning to remasters of the original Metal Gear Solid games for new consoles, as well as a potential full remake of Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. Many have speculated that remake specialist Bluepoint would work on an MGS remake, but VGC sources say it is being handled by a Singaporean studio, Virtuous, which previously worked on the Switch port of Dark Souls Remastered, amongst other projects. So I really have no attachment to any of these long-running and beloved Konami franchises. I really never played Metal Gear, Silent Hill, or Castlevania, so I'm extremely excited to see them remaster or remake these games on the current-gen consoles. I'm sure fans of these series would love to see new entries, but for me, I would love to get my hands on them. I've heard nothing but great things. I did love what Kojima did with Death Stranding. Although I don't know if I liked the game, I loved it. It was just so weird, such an experience. I can't wait to see all the wackiness I've heard of Metal Gear as they hopefully remaster these games now. As always, we end our show with a fun fact about Xbox, and this one is about Google Stadia and Xbox. Credit to Otto Kraki at GameSpot. Stadia games can now be streamed straight to Xbox consoles. Xbox consoles house another platform today thanks to a new version of Microsoft Edge added in this month's update. Starting today, Xbox users can access the latest version of Microsoft's browser, which can stream Google Stadia games and even access Discord. Streaming Stadia games to either an Xbox Series X or S or Xbox One should essentially be the same as it would be on a PC. The console's version of the Edge browser is nearly identical to what is found on computers, and thanks to today's update, it also includes mouse and keyboard support. According to The Verge, Stadia games that are streamed to an Xbox console can be played either with a controller or an attached mouse and keyboard. What wild times we live in that, one, Stadia is even around, sorry for those who enjoy it, but that you can play it on the Xbox consoles thanks to the power of Microsoft Edge. The software engineers at Microsoft and Xbox are certainly wizards, and I love all the stuff that they give you access to and all the options we have as Xbox gamers. Thank you all for listening to the Xbox in 10 podcast, your weekly source of Xbox gaming news covered in around 10 minutes. If you like the show, please subscribe on your favorite podcast service, share with your friends, leave a review, and follow on all social media at Xbox in 10. This past week, I really didn't have any time to play games, a lot of personal things going on, but as I mentioned earlier, I jumped into the Halo Infinite flight last week, and holy crap, I have not had this feeling about Halo in a very long time. I can't wait to get off of this podcast recording as I've been away all weekend, and try to jump into the big team battle flight. Really stoked, can't wait, too many games coming out this fall, but what a time to be a gamer. My name is Brandon Rosa. You can follow me on Xbox at Brosa93. I hope you all have a great week, stay safe, and keep on gaming.